Hey guys, welcome to a brand new series, The History Of, a show where we take a Pokemon and look at its history in the Pokemon franchise, from the games to the anime to the TCG and everything in between. When deciding of who to start this series off with, I just had to go with Delibird. He may not be a staple of the series in the same way that Pikachu or Charizard are, but you'd be surprised just how much limelight this little Santa bird has had over the years. Besides, it's my channel mascot, so of course I had to pick it. Delibird is an ice and flying type Pokemon known for its signature move Present, a move that deals one of 3 set damage outputs, or potentially even healing the opponent. It was first introduced in the Generation 2 games Gold and Silver. It's not been in every regional deck since its debut, but it did survive Dexit, so that's something. Starting off, let's look at the games. In its original games, Delibird was a very rare encounter, only being found in Silver version originally until Crystal released a couple of years later, in which it can only be found at night. The Ice Path, the only place you can find Delibird in the game, can't be accessed until the second half of your journey, so you'll have to wait a while before catching one. You'd think that a rare encounter so late into the game would be a powerhouse in battle, but unfortunately for Delibird, that's just not the case here. I mentioned its signature move Present earlier. Well, that's the only move it learns, at least by level up. It can learn a few TMs, sure, but its move pool is one of its biggest weaknesses, alongside the rock type weakness and its overall poor base stat total. With its highest stat being 75 in speed, it's safe to say that Delibird won't be winning any awards in the stat department. In its debut games then, it was not a particularly good pick, even with the smaller pool of ice types available. You'd be much better off picking a Swinub, Jinx, or even Sneasel if you're looking for a strong ice type. As the generations progressed, it did see a few small buffs. Via egg moves, it gets some really interesting moves like Ice Punch, Fake Out, and Rapid Spin, and it can learn some great moves via TM like Ice Beam, Focus Punch, and more. It even gained a new level up move in Sword and Shield in Drill Peck, probably one of the best flying physical moves. If, after all of this, you still want to use a Delibird for your in-game team, your options for doing this are the Generation 2 games as well as their remakes Heart Gold and Soul Silver, although you'll need to trade as once again, it's only available in Soul Silver version. Delibird wouldn't make an appearance in a regional dex until Black and White 2, where you can find it after reaching Route 22, although they're even rarer with just a 5% encounter rate. And once again, there's a lot more ice types available in Gen 5, so unfortunately Delibird may not be a wise choice. In the Generation 7 game Sun and Moon, Delibird can be found as early as Route 3. This makes it actually a somewhat viable pick for the early game, as you don't get many chances to use an ice type so early. It's also available similarly early in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but this time it can be found in the Seaward Cave. The most up-to-date main story appearance for Delibird is in Sword and Shield, where it can be found in multiple areas of the wild area, as well as in max raid dens and a bit later on Route 8. Again, Delibird is probably the best it's ever been in Gen 8, even learning some really great tutor moves in the expansion pass such as Triple Axle and Dual Wing Beat. You can find it pretty early on as well, so this is probably your best option if you want to try out a Delibird. At the time of this video's release, Gen 9, Scarlet and Violet have been announced, but it's currently unknown if Delibird will make an appearance. I for one, really hope it does. Before moving on, Delibird also has a presence, pun intended, in a few of the Pokemon spin-offs. Most notably as an NPC in Pokemon Stadium 2, starring in the minigame Delibird's Delivery, where you have to collect presents from one side of the field to the other while avoiding Swinub. It also makes a small appearance in the lesser known GameCube title Pokemon Channel, where it plays the role of a delivery boy for the Shop and Squirtle store. Moving on, let's look at Delibird's appearances in the anime, and it's had more than you might expect. In fact, it's become somewhat of a recurring character. A Delibird is used as a delivery service and deck collector for Team Rocket on a number of occasions, with the most memorable of which being when it delivered Jesse and James a Charizard and Aggron to use in battle, only for it to be revealed that these Pokemon were instead supposed to be delivered to Butch and Cassidy. Team Rocket's Delibird debuted in episode 231, Duos and Don'ts, and has made numerous reappearances since. A few other Delibird have been featured in the anime, including cameo appearances in the movies Diancie and the Cocoon of Destruction and The Power of Us. It's also been seen under the ownership of none other than Santa Claus in the episode Delibird's Dilemma. I mean, Delibird's the only Pokemon that Santa could have, right? Overall then, Delibird may not have been a staple of the anime scene, but it's had its fair share of appearances over the years nonetheless. Delibird has also made a few small appearances in the Pokemon Adventures manga. Its first appearance was in the Gold and Silver chapter in the 103rd round, You Ain't Nothing But a Houndour. Yes, that is actually the title. It's seen under the ownership of the Masked Man, being one of his most used team members. Price also has a Delibird in the manga, and he's not the only gym leader to use one either. In the Diamond and Pearl chapter, Candice can be seen using a Delibird in Striking Out Snova. Delibird also makes a small cameo in the 67th chapter of the Gotta Catch 'Em All manga, under the ownership of a monk. That's pretty much it for the manga, so let's move on to the TCG. There have been many Delibird Pokemon cards over the years, 11 in total in fact. Delibird is always either a water or colourless type in the TCG, due to ice not being a represented type. Delibird is normally reserved as a common rarity card, however there have been a couple of rarer Delibird cards about, with the rarest probably being found in the Neo Revelation set, released in English in 2001. This card is the only instance of Delibird being a rare holo card, and it's actually only one of 2 rare Delibird cards printed, with the other being in the EX Team Rocket Returns set released in 2004. Just like in the games, Delibird is usually depicted using its signature move Present, which works in a similar way to how it does in the games. Also, just like in the games, Delibird has not really seen much competitive use in the TCG. So there we have it, a brief history of Delibird in the Pokemon series. Despite it being one of, if not my favourite Pokemon of all time, I've tried my best to remain unbiased as we talk about it here. Delibird may not exactly be a fan favourite, but it's still recognisable to anyone who's played their fair share of Pokemon. Delibird proves that not every Pokemon has to have a massive base stat total, or a cool edgy design. Sometimes all you need is the spirit of the holidays, and no Pokemon represents that better than Delibird. Thank you all so much for watching. This is a little bit different to the content I normally post, but if you guys want to see more, then I will definitely make this a common feature on the channel. What Pokemon should I look into next? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, then I would really appreciate you giving it a like, and if you're not subscribed to the channel already, then please consider doing so if you liked what you saw today. That's all I've got for you today, so as always, thank you all so much for watching. Until next time.